You came back. Awesome. So now we're on day 2. So let's head over to our mats. All right. So today our practice is going to be about creating. So we're going to be in a seated position for the majority of this practice. So today's positive affirmation is, I am the creator of my reality. I can create. Okay? So we're going to start with butterfly pose. Now, let me just grab these blocks. This is why blocks come in handy. I'm going to show you really quickly. So in the event, when you come into butterfly, you're going to have your 2 feet together. Probably want to be long ways on your mat. In the event that my knees could not come as low as they do, I could simply place blocks underneath each knee and be supported. Okay? So we're going to start with butterfly. So with or without the blocks, you can either pull your feet in closer to go a little bit deeper, or they can come out. And we're going to slowly walk our hands in front of us. Now, pain may be an indicator that you're too deep. So you want to dial it back if you have discomfort that is really, really bothering you. Now, if you are just going a little bit deeper than usual and you're just slightly past your edge, then I would encourage you to challenge yourself. But suffering is optional, so you should not be suffering in any of these poses. So we're just going to walk our hands out in front of us, and we're going to try to keep a straight back. And you can close your eyes. You can come down onto your elbows or your forearms if you can. If not, you can take one of your blocks and totally rest your arms here. We're going to be here for just a couple of breaths. And what we're doing, we're actually activating the part of our body, the pelvic region, the sacral chakra region, that is responsible for opening up our creative space, our creative flow. We're also working in our hip flexors because our hip flexors take the brunt of a lot of everything that we do, any other type of physical activity, even walking. And a lot of times emotions and trauma can get trapped in our hips and our shoulders. So we want to take the time to try to work that out. So if you're using a block, go ahead and move it out of the way. We'll slowly walk back. And we're going to go ahead and open our legs up now into a straddle, if you can. Your legs don't have to be super wide either. And if your knees are, you can bend your knees if you need to. You can slip a block under there if you need to. You can pull them a little bit closer together. And in the straddle pose, we're going to do much of the same that we did with butterfly. We're just going to slowly walk forward. And so my hamstrings are super tight, usually. If I ran like earlier in the day, which I did earlier this morning. So I'm going to be easy on myself. And so we want to continue to breathe through our nose and breathe out through our nose. And every time you take an inhale, imagine yourself breathing that breath into those areas in your muscles that are tight. And when you exhale, imagine tightness exiting the body. Maybe just a couple breaths. It's a really good way to just wake up, start waking up your body, or relaxing your body if you've been sitting all day at work, or relaxing your body before you go to bed. We're going to slowly come back up, and from here, we're going to move into one of my favorites. It's called the Yogi Squat, Malasana. So we're already low to the ground, so we don't have to stand up and do this. It might be easier for you to get into this position already being low to the ground. But you want your heels turned in, toes turned out, and your knees spread as wide as they can go. And you're going to place your elbows between your knees and slowly kind of push out to open your knees even wider. And then you want to try to drive your tailbone towards the ground. So you're not sticking out like that, leaning forward, you want to be trying to go straight up and down. And you want to roll your shoulders back and keep your hands in a prayer posture right in front of you. And we're just really getting into those hip flexors, which is nice. My calves are getting a nice little stretch as well. But again, now if you're having a problem squatting, this is where the blocks come in. You can totally sit a block right up under you and be supported in this pose. Ta-da! Okay. So from here, we're going to slowly come out of it. Like I said, all of these poses for today's practice are low to the ground. And we're going to come back into face the front of our mat. And what you're trying to do is take your right shin and get it parallel with the top of the mat, just right in front of you. If you have knee issues or it's a problem getting your knee lower, take your block and support that knee. Okay. And then you want to take your left shin and have it parallel to the side of your mat. And what we're going to do, we're going to slowly just lift our buttocks off the mat just a little bit and just kind of start to walk our hands back. Now you should feel this in your left hip crease right here. Doesn't take a whole lot. You don't have to go back too far. Okay? We're just trying to work into those hip flexors and get a little bit of a stretch in some areas that we may not take the time to stretch during the course of the day. Just a couple breaths here. And now we're going to slowly come up. And we're just going to change positions. So now the left shin parallel to the top of the mat, right shin parallel to the side, right side of the mat. And then we're going to lift our buttocks and walk back just a little. And each side might feel considerably different. It's not uncommon. Now, if you can go all the way back like this, you could do that as well. That's a very intense, very deep stretch. But the name of the game is not pain. Okay. And if you're all the way back like this, you want to slowly push your hands up under you to come back up. Walk your hands back out in front of you. And again, we're going to come into our butterfly, supported or unsupported with the blocks. Hands come out in front of us. And if you can lean over this time, that's wonderful. I'm going to slowly move out of butterfly back into our seated straddle. And your legs don't have to be super far. Slowly walk out. See if you can just walk out a little bit further than you did a few minutes ago. Flex your feet too. That'll help with that that stretch along the inside of your thighs. And then we want to go ahead and walk back. And come up into Malasana. That nice yogi squat, heels turned in, toes turned out. Elbows pressing our knees open, hands in a prayer position. And remember, you can always sit your block right underneath you. That. I would encourage you guys to be using your smartwatches too to get credit for your yoga practice each day. Okay. We're slowly going to come out of this. Face the front of our mat and come into deer pose. Right leg parallel with the top of the mat, left leg parallel with the side. And then we're going to walk back. I'm going to lay back all the way this time on both sides. If you feel open enough to try it, you can. You don't have to stay there. You can come out of any pose at any time that you need to. I can't see you. Nobody else can see you. This is totally your practice. And then we'll slowly come back up and switch. Left leg parallel to the top of the mat. Right leg parallel to the side. Lift up and lay back. On this one, my right side is definitely tighter. Now from here, we're going to do one that we didn't do the first iteration. So slowly come up, and then you want to roll back onto your back. If you can do this one, fine. If not, you can just stay on your back. You want to roll down, have your feet pointed up at the ceiling, and you're going to grab your big toes with your index finger, your middle finger, and you're going to slowly, this is happy baby, try to bring your knees down as low as they can go, and you can just rock a little bit. This is a really, really good one for hip flexors, and it may take you several practices to get into this without having some level of discomfort or pain, okay? But pain is not our goal. So just go as low as you can with it. Okay. And we're going to slowly release, roll back up. We're not going to end in Shavasana today. We're going to slowly come up and take a seat. Bring our hands together at the front of our heart. Take a nice deep breath in. We're going to inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouths. And a suggested journal prompt, writing prompt for today is, what do I want to create in my world? Hands together, the front of the heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for doing day 2. 10 days to go, and I'm excited to get there with you.